I wanted to ask you something that I kind of noticed, and I don't want to offend you, but I'm very
That's
curious.
okay.
Um, the first couple of records you had with Sony, I noticed that in the liner notes, your name is not really in there very often for songwriting credit. But I know
Hmm.
that you're a singer songwriter, have always been a singer songwriter. So I'm curious, from your standpoint, was there a struggle, and if there was, what was it, in getting a major label, in this instance, Columbia or Sony, I guess they were
Uh-huh.
one and the same, to kind of use your own songs rather than the songs that are coming from a publishing company?
Well, when we first when going into that first record, the gatekeepers and the number one goal for any major record label in Nashville, the MCAs, the RCAs, Sony's, Columbia, Epic, you name it, Atlantic, was the radio.
Yeah.
And so, coming like I was 2 years, I was a sophomore out of college, and I had, was just getting started, and I was co-writing. But when it well, at the end of the day, my songs had to match up with Marty Stewart's writing. You
Sure.
know, the writers that I was getting songs from, these were like guys that were having hits right then and there. Tony Martin, Troy Martin, these guys were writing big hit records, and we were getting great songs. And so at the end of the day, it was like my song versus, here I am writing songs for the first 2 years of my life, trying to co-write, but then I've got a song coming in from Whitey Schaefer and Gary Harrison and Dean Dillon, and so it's like, let's just put the best songs on these projects as possible because it was, and I had to agree with them at the time, it's
Sure.
like, let's just, because it's so freaking competitive. And,
As a young songwriter, do you recognize that at the time? Like, is that
oh
a
yeah,
is that a hit to your ego at all?
no,
Okay.
not at the time because I wanted to be successful. And
So,
as
I mean,
time
how much
went,
sponging are you doing then? Because if you recognize at the time that my songs are not up to snuff to these great songwriters, so like, how much
mhm.
sponging are you doing trying to learn to get to that level?
Well, it's just you just write as much as you can, and I think Mark Miller from Sawyer Brown
Mm.
was kind of the guy that we were on tour with Toby Keith and Sawyer Brown, and Mark Miller came up to me and he said, "Look, man," he goes, "the one advice that I would give you is to continue to build your songwriting catalog, and just write, and build the catalog." And I've always that's what I've tried to do. And I think it's just about when does your art become, when does it get better and better and better and
Yeah.
better until, and so that's sort of that way I've looked at it. I didn't really worry about whether it was my song on their first few albums or not. I just wanted to put out great materials, the best material I could, because it was so dead competitive. And then of
As
course,
you're cutting other people's songs, you're writing the whole time, right? Like, you're still
yeah,
writing.
absolutely. Yeah, I had Dean Dillon and Gary Harrison fly to my neighborhood and write with me in my house, and we we wrote, and then I'd have Gary fly out, on tour with me to write. And so uh, the coolest thing was just being a sponge. Use the word that you use, but being a learning sponge, like
Yeah.
taking it all in, and just uh, first and foremost, you know, being passionate about the song that you're writing. I mean, that's one of the luxuries that I have. I'm not on a publishing company
Sure.
timeline where I'm trying to churn out so many songs. I'm just at this point, I'm just trying to write something that I love, something that I'm passionate about, and at the end of the day, want to make sure that the song is a song that I can play the rest of my life, or else I'm not doing it. And that
Yeah.
happens a lot. It's
I think
like
that's
I had,
impressive, to be honest.
yeah,
And because, I mean, as an artist at the time, and let's be real, you're blowing up. Like, you're doing really well. You've got gold records. You're getting, nominations for awards as an artist. So I would think, as a young guy, it would be really easy to just become complacent and be happy with the flowers you're getting. And, oh, I'm getting these great songs from the Dean Dillons and the Troy Martins and all of that. Why should I even bother writing? Like, everything is happening for me. I'll just take it and love it. But that's not what you
yeah.
did. You continued to hone your craft, and try to become a better songwriter as well. That's impressive to me, honestly. Yeah.
Well, that's something that's also just an ongoing, lifelong thing. It's like, so I tell my kids and that are pursuing the music business. It's like you just got to keep doing it, and you know
Yeah,
you can't ever.
complacency's a killer in the business, right?
Yeah, and at this stage of the game for me, it's just, man, if it's something that I really want to say, then I'll just go after it, and don't ever stop. But I think the kind of what was really fun was when after I left Sony and signed to Warner Brothers was being able to uh, collaborate with Raul Malo. That was kind of a cool thing because then we got to write all the songs on all the albums. You know,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and it was
And by that time,
you
you're
know.
probably ready for Raul. You know what I mean? Like you've been honing your craft. You've been doing it in the shadows, so to speak, and learning and sponging, and then that opportunity comes along, and you're ready for it because of that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me just say, that thoughts and prayers are out to
Absolutely.
for the
Yes.
Malo family and Raul as he's going through his radiation and chemo, and I was just praying for him and for a speedy recovery. But
Yeah.
yes, to answer your question, it was a great time. I got to meet my one of my best friends, Alan Miller, co-writer, and write two albums with Malo, and that's all part of the growth and being being able to kind of be in a place where I can put songs out like The Ride or the stuff that I'm doing on my own here in
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah.
That's sort of what it's very gratifying.
I love that. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Thoughts and prayers to the Malo family. Just one of country music's iconic voices of the last 30 years. I think just an incredible voice.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.